The Bank of Canada has cut its benchmark rate by another quarter point to 2.25%. It's the second straight cut after the rate dropped to 2.5% last month. Annual inflation rose half a point to 2.4% in September, and the economy is showing cracks in the face of U.S. tariffs. The Bank of Canada is also releasing updated economic forecasts for the first time since January. For more on today's decision, we're joined, as always, by Allan Small of the Allan Small Financial Group. Allan, first off, let's get your initial reaction about this cut and more so why you think the Bank of Canada made this rate reduction.
Well, very happy. I'm glad that they are cutting. Obviously, we need as much stimulus as we can get. The Prime Minister, Premier Ford, constantly talking about trying to create an environment to bring business to this country. We're seeing business activity down. We're seeing exports down. Even though we're starting to get, more trade deals, or at least working on trade deals with other countries other than the United States. This all goes together, trying to create that environment to make things easier for Canadians to bring business to this country. Lowering interest rates helps a lot with that. It helps businesses be able to borrow at more cheaply, I should say. It helps people be able to borrow to buy a home, to buy big ticket items more cheaply. So all this goes hand in hand. I'd love to see a tax cut in the budget, but I don't know if that's going to happen. But it all goes hand in hand to create a good environment here.
I want to focus first. Let's talk about the business side other than the consumer side and what this means for the average everyday investor and someone who wants to buy a home. When I'm looking at investments from companies around the world who are looking at Canada, they want to invest here. In the first 2 quarters, we've seen about $90 billion in capital investments flee the country. And when the Bank of Canada is making this kind of a rate reduction, and given the retraction in our GDP that we saw in the last numbers, down 1.6%, is this going to fuel the kind of interest in our country at a time when there is so much uncertainty because of U.S. tariffs and because of weak economic data?
You hit the nail on the head. The uncertainty, right? The uncertainty coupled with the environment to do business here for businesses. What are interest rates like? What are taxes like? We're one of the highest tax jurisdictions in all of North America. And I've said it many times here and in other broadcasts, we need to bring the tax rates down. We need to bring interest rates down. We need to match what they're doing in the United States. For the longest time, we used to say our brothers to the U.S. Well, unfortunately, that relationship has gone a little bit south. And yes, I think there will be a trade deal done between Canada and the U.S. What that deal will look like, I'm not sure. But the Prime Minister himself has said that tariffs are here to stay. And the environment that we once had with the United States, the relationship with the U.S. has changed probably forever going forward. So we need to take care of our backyard. And that means cutting interest rates, maybe even cutting taxes, but making it good, making it better, making it a place that businesses want to come to for business.
On the consumer side, especially for people who have been sitting on the sidelines, they're hoping to get into the market and they're waiting for these rate reductions. A lot of people are still sitting on those sidelines. Year-over-year sales are really kind of capped off nationally around just less than 2%. Is this rate reduction going to stimulate a market that has been very flat for a very long time?
I think it does over time, right? I think, if we get another cut in December, that'll be the next decision that has to be made. I think we may get another cut in December. I'm talking to the home building sector, I'm not hearing that builders are building as yet. I am starting to hear a lot of renos. That part of the business is starting to pick up once again, which is great if you're going to look at the shares of Home Depot and places like that. But overall, I think the rental business will start, and I think the builds will come after if we make the environment good for these home builders to continue to build.
Allan Small, always appreciate your perspective. Thank you.
Thank you.